Wine went bad, I'm still drinking. Whatever kills the pain. Stay in bed for days without blinking. Whatever kills the pain.
Hi, Jed Gottlieb from the Boston Herald with another guest-list guitar, this time with Ward Hayden of Girls, Guns, and Glory. How are you, sir?
Doing well, doing well.
I don't know if you remember this because you play a lot of shows, but years ago you played like a benefit that I put on where you just did some songs on the acoustic guitar. And you did like a medley of like an unbelievable amount of songs with the same chord progression. Do you remember that at all?
I do.
What do you remember what chord progression that is? Because it must be kind of like a famous country sort of honky tonk.
One of my favorites, a 1-4-5 of the E, A, and B.
Okay.
I do a lot of writing that's kind of like the downstroke, the chugging. I played a lot of punk rock stuff when I was growing up, and I revert back to that a lot because I like that. I really like that driving feel. And then the chorus of the song is, "Who will love you?" And the idea of combining these two elements that, in my own head, I thought they were very different. Yeah. And then when Josh was hearing something, he was like, "Well, let's try them together." Who will love you? Who will love you now? The offer's on the table, and it's so hard to let it pass by. You can reach right out and grab it, but keep your desire locked inside. I'm a big fan of the cowboy chords. There's something so primal and pure. You listen to the old country music, and a lot of those guys. I mean, Hank Williams is a huge influence of mine, and when I hear him play, I mean, he likes the chords that I seem to like.
Yeah.
When I first started writing songs, now about 10 years ago, I actually think I took it for granted how easy it was. But I didn't know what I was doing.
Yeah.
I was picking up the guitar and I knew a couple chords, and I'd never really said anything with song before, so it was just flowing out of me very easily. I mean, I'd pick up the guitar, and some days, a couple hours later, I'd have 2 or 3 songs more or less written. And I think just doing it now for years and touring as much as we have, it's definitely become a thing of becoming like more of a worker in song. Of sometimes the inspiration comes and might be there for 15 minutes, but now I've learned it. If I'm in bed and inspiration strikes, I need to get out of bed, pick up the guitar, stop what I'm doing. If I'm watching TV and it happens, the show's got to go off, and I need to go be by myself with the guitar, because you can't take inspiration for granted. I just remember picking up the guitar and just kind of playing through some chords and some progressions that I was learning, and it sounded like music, and I was like, maybe it's not just immortals that can do this. Maybe a regular person like me can write songs, which I think I was a little naive, or I idolized musicians so much that I never imagined that I could write songs. And one of the first songs I wrote was called "Cause and Effect," and I was just sitting up in my bedroom at the time and being like, and like feeling like that felt good, and be like, oh, it goes to that chord, kind of thing. And before I knew it, I had written a song.
What advice would you give? Because I feel like I don't know. Sometimes I should think about like what you're doing, or what Johnny Cash is doing, or what like the Clash, or like just like people that are not, they're like, don't worry about weird chords and don't worry about a time. Like sometimes I'm like, this is just like, and I'm like, come on, man, like what, oh, then I got an A minor in there, but I don't like, I don't know, maybe something comes with the melody, but
Yeah.
I
yeah.
feel like 4 chords aren't good enough, which they've been good enough for thousands of people before me.
Well, I mean, you know, you take somebody like me. I mean, most of what I do are very basic chords, but you know, we have Cody Nilsson. We acquired him this year on guitar, and most recently, you know, he picked up the pedal steel, and you know, he's a great musician. He's great with music theory, and he's really put his time into, you know, to master the instrument. So it's like, you know, it's on him to color up those chords a little bit and you know, make it a little more fanciful.
Right.
Yeah.
You're in charge of the lyrics. You're in charge of the vocal melody. Let the rest of the guys, you know.
I'll bake the cake. They need to put the frosting on.
Yeah. Before I let you go, what's kind of your favorite on Love and Protest right now? And can you play us out with a little bit of the song that you're kind of digging the most?
Sure. One of the more rockin' songs. I'm one of those people. I love a good rocker, and I also love a ballad. Yeah. But I'm really happy about this song. It's called "The Wine Went Bad, but I'm Still Drinking."
Yeah, that's like a classic one right there. Yeah.
Well, I was so pleased about that song because I went to Save More Liquors. Yeah. And I bought some organic wine. Yeah. And I was sitting around just picking on the guitar and I opened the wine and it was terrible. It had gone bad, I think, you know, probably even before it got to the store. Yeah. And I opened it up and I was like, oh man, like, you know, the wine went bad, but it's like 11 p.m. I don't think I can go back out and buy another. You know, I guess I'm still drinking. Yeah, that's right. You know, started thinking about how that applied to other things in life. And next thing you know, the song came to fruition. Wine went bad, I'm still drinking. Whatever kills the pain. Stay in bed for days without blinking. Whatever kills the pain. Might be